Hello, good afternoon. Today we are going to learn about the parts of a lathe machine. As we had talked about before, a lathe machine is used to machine components so that they can be to the right size and the right dimensions. Now, a lathe machine has several parts which combine together in order to perform these functions. Now, one of the part is called a headstock. Now, a headstock is fixed at the extreme left hand of the bed and contains shafts and gears immersed in lubricating oil. I think you all know the purpose of lubricating oil so that the parts or the gears will not wear out. And the driving shafts inside is driven by an electric motor. Okay, it gives the shaft the motion. The driven shaft, which is the form of a hollow spindle, can be driven at various revolutions per minute, depending on the gear ratio. By changing the gears, you can get different speeds. It projects out of the headstock, that is the fin spindle, where a chuck, either 3-jaw chuck, 4-jaw chuck, is screwed into the spindle. Now, what is the function of that chuck? The function of the chuck is to hold the workpiece in the jaws. Okay, so we've seen the spindle. You can attach a 3-jaw chuck, a 4-jaw chuck, sometimes a collet chuck for holding the workpiece. Now, when the spindle rotates, the chuck as well as the workpiece held also rotate about the longitudinal axis of the spindle. 2. We have the tailstock. A tailstock is provided at the right hand end of the bed. It can slide along the guideways provided in the bed and may be brought near to the headstock or to the, if so desired. So you can slide the tailstock so that it can be near the bed or you can move it away from the bed. 2, it can be clamped or fixed on the bed at that position. You can clamp the tailstock on the bed so that you achieve or where you want it to be. This spindle can be moved forward, so it can move forward. The tailstock has a spindle in the upper part of the tailstock. The axis is considered with the spindle as the axis of the headstock. Same axis, and they are both at the same heights above the bed. Now the spindle can be moved forward or backward by rotating a hand wheel. If the center being carried on its bearing rotates along the workpiece, okay, you can insert a center. It can be a dead center or a live center. A dead center does not rotate with the spindle, but a live center rotates with the spindle. Another part of the bed is carriage, which is mounted on the outer guideways of the lead bed, and it can move in a directional process parallel to the spindle axis. Okay, the carriage contains the lower carriage. It stands as the apron, and it carries the gears for adjusting the direction of the feet using a clutch. The cross light is basically mounted on the carriage at the upper part and travel right angles to the spindle axis. So it travels at right angles to the spindle axis. Then we have a compound rest on top. The compound rest slides in actuated or by a screw which rotates in a fixed nut to the saddle. Okay, that is the carriage. Then we have the bed. Okay, the bed of a lathe is the base. The bed is the base. Base which all the other parts are mounted. So it is massive cast to support the other parts of the bed. On the left of the bed, headstock of the lathe machine is located, while on the right we have the tailstock, as I have explained earlier. The carriage of the machine rests on the bed and slides on it. So we have guideways on the bed where the carriage slides on it. Also, the tailstock slides on the carriage. So those are the few parts, the main parts of the lathe machine. Thank you and goodbye.